Guys, check it out. Guess what's happening?
What?
40-year mortgages are going to potentially become the norm.
What?
Do you know what that means?
No.
It means more cash flow, more money, and way easier opportunity to become millionaires in real estate. You don't get it. Guys, let's make a video. This is gonna be awesome.
One shot, now the future is yours. Go! I'm turning dreams into reality. Yeah, it's one shot, now the future is yours. Go!
Oh my gosh, this is amazing. My friend Dolph DeRoos, who's an international investor and mentor of mine, talks about how all over the world, people have already embraced the 40-year mortgage. And you don't understand, like going from a 30-year mortgage to a 40-year sounds insane. People are gonna freak out and be like, Kris, we're never gonna get our houses paid off in 40 years. Are you kidding? And I'm like, this is the best thing since sliced bread, baby. Dude, people just don't get it. Like, this is the most exciting thing. Let's just say for a moment that you can buy a house for $300,000. And you're like, okay, well, let's just say for a moment that we do a 30-year mortgage. And on a 30-year mortgage on that, let's just call it $1,800. But if you could actually get the bank to give you a 40-year mortgage, your payment could maybe drop to, let's just call it $1,400. Okay, I'm making these numbers up. But if my rent on this property, let's just say is $2,300, if I'm renting it for $2,300 and my 30-year mortgage was $1,800, then that would be a delta of a $500 a month positive cash flow. But on a 40-year mortgage, if I have a payment of $1,400, guess what it adds? That's a difference of $400 more a month. My cash flow is now $900 a month. Now I know what you're thinking. Kris, you crazy? You're never gonna get that thing paid off. I do not wanna pay off the home. I'm controlling it. So what's leading to this whole 40-year mortgage thing? Let's understand it. The Mortgage Bankers Association latest forbearance and call volume survey revealed that the total number of loans in forbearance is down now to 3.87% as of June 27, 2021, from a peak of 8.55% in June 2020. According to MBA's estimate, 1.9 million homeowners are still with forbearance plans. All right. Maybe you're not aware, let me catch you up. So the government says, yo, we are shutting down this economy. That means that you can't go to work. And if you can't go to work, you probably can't pay your mortgage. We don't want you to not be able to make your payment. We don't want you to like go into foreclosure. So we're gonna do two things. We're gonna say, banks, you're not allowed to foreclose on people that can't afford their payments. And then they said, people, if you can't make your payments, you don't need to make your payments. We're gonna call it forbearance. We're just going to forbear or wait for a while, and at some future point, we'll, let you start making payments again. Well, everyone was terrified that when forbearance comes to an end, what is it gonna mean? Oh my gosh, people won't be able to make their payments. All these homes are gonna go back to the bank. We're gonna have all of this big mortgage crisis. We're gonna have foreclosures coming out of our ears. That's not happening. Look at this. Forbearance was at 8.5%. Now it's down to 3.8, which means that we've gotten rid of like 60% of those forbearances. Means that the economy is doing really well. Means people are getting back to work. Means people are saying, hey, you know what? I can make my payments. So even though I could forbear, I'm not. Well, one of the US government's mortgage administrations, Ginnie Mae, is really concerned. They're like, oh my gosh, if we still have forbearance around 3.5%, 4%, these people may never come off of forbearance. You know what we should do? We should consider putting them in a 40-year mortgage. Check this out. Ginnie Mae recently said it would help eligible borrowers transition from forbearance into a loan modification for up to 40 years. This is significant since Ginnie Mae backs the loans made through the Federal Housing Administration, FHA, the US Department of Veterans Affairs, VA, as well as other loans. In other words, if you've got some type of government-backed loan right now, this could apply to you. Of the 1.86 million loans in forbearance, only a fraction of those mortgages are ultimately going to be eligible for this Ginnie Mae 40-year term. What makes the difference? All borrowers can apply for this loan modification if they can no longer afford their mortgage after their forbearance expires. In other words, the government's trying to take some level of accountability and say, hey, we know we pushed this forbearance thing on you in the first place, but we got to get out of it. Like, we're not going to get to like normal living again if we can't like end this forbearance thing. So they're trying to be helpful and say, maybe we can take you struggling human beings and put you in some type of 40-year mortgage, and maybe that's good enough so we can get payments rolling again and start collecting some money and get back on track. I want the 40-year mortgage to become the norm, but this is what it looks like for those with forbearance. Eligibility requirements include that you do not qualify for a refinance loan. Like if you can't refinance out of it, they're gonna well, then we're gonna give you a 40-year term. There's been a long-term change to your financial situation, or you're facing other hardships that prevent you from affording original mortgage payments. So, dude, if things have just gone downhill for you, if you haven't returned back to some type of financial norm, they're gonna say, hey, then we're going to show some leniency and we're going to get you in this 40-year mortgage thing. It's going to drop your payments lower. And finally, if you're several months late on your mortgage payments or highly likely to fall behind, they're definitely going to refinance you into this 40-year term. And I got to say, man, I wish that is something I could qualify for on every one of my homes. Let me share a bit of hopium with you. Could this become the norm? I can only hope so. Ginnie Mae could be using this opportunity to test if the 40-year mortgage will work with consumers. I hope that's a yes.
Fingers crossed.
51%, by the way, of United Kingdom mortgages are already on that 40-year game, and that's actually common in a lot of other countries around the world. Dolph DeRoos sees that on a regular basis when he invests internationally. He's in love with the 40-year mortgage because think about what happens to your cash flow. It literally could nearly double on a property, and that would be a really awesome thing. And finally, we're hoping that there's going to be some pressure from investors to banks to adopt this 40-year mortgage because they're going to generate a lot more interest revenue. This could actually really stimulate the economy and make it easier for people to say, you know what? Why aren't I an investor? So-and-so isn't making $300 a month on a property. They're making $800 a month on a property. Shoot, you buy 10 of those and that's $100,000 a year. So let's talk about the short-term effects of this. First of all, there will be smaller monthly payments. There will be more people that are going to be able to afford a home, and investors can cash flow properties a lot easier. But the long-term effects might be working a little bit against us. Check it out. It could be harder to build equity in the home, which, by the way, I don't actually agree with that from this article. It basically says you'll be paying it down slower. I'm like, dude, most people do not get their equity from paying it down, but from owning a home and watching it appreciate. And that doesn't change whether you have a 30 or 40 or 15 year, whatever mortgage, right? Number two, increased affordability could create increased demand for homes. Like right now, we already have a supply and demand problem. We have people wanting homes like crazy. If they were to institute something like this, we could see that demand increase all the more. And finally, home prices could spike to account for affordability. In other words, if they enacted something like this, it's probably going to push home prices higher even faster. You know, as nice as a 40-year mortgage honestly would be, can you really beat what's happening in the real estate market right now? I mean, last year, I made millions and millions and millions of dollars literally just because I own a lot of homes. Hence, a lot of investors are trying to get their hands on really good properties. Problem is, it's hard to get a good deal because there's so much competition out there. A lot of people all over the world that subscribe to my channel, been watching me for a long time, or watch thousands of my videos, or TikTok or Instagram, or wherever you're watching me, YouTube, podcast, they're basically saying, okay, Kris, I see you've done $1 billion of this game. You've done 5,000 single family homes. How I can go faster is if I partner with you. And that is actually a direct possibility. Can't partner with everybody because I'm limited in the number of really, really good deals that I can buy. But on a regular basis, I am accepting applications for new partners. And if you'd like to partner with me, or if you'd like to go and do real estate yourself, or if you just want to learn how to take advantage of this economy, what you're really going to need is a financial game plan. Turns out I actually have in the link below a really cool little video that's going to ask you a bunch of little questions. And if you answer them, a member of my team will reach out and provide a custom game plan. They'll literally take a look at where you're at in your life and say, all right, if you wanted to be financially free in 5 years or 10 years or 20 years, step by step, this is exactly how you do it. And if you don't have a game plan for making millions of dollars, I'm sorry, sucks to be you. Don't suck. Click the link below. Get your free game plan. Speaking of 40-year mortgages, someone's out there watching this getting really upset. You're going to see it in the comments below. They're going to say, Kris, you're never going to get that home paid off. I got news for you. I don't want to pay off the home. I never want to pay off the home. And if you're a little confused as to why, I made a video for you. Check this one out. Be eligible for Ginnie Mae's 40-year loan term. However, all borrowers can apply for a loan modification if they can no longer afford their mortgage after their forbearance expires.